What's going on, YouTube? You know who it is. Traded Nine here. We back at it again with another video. Basically, today we're gonna be watching Iman Gadzhi 17 money lessons I wish someone had told me. Now, this is something that you should use. Get your money up, learn good money habits, and also expand your knowledge on how money is made or how money can be multiplied and fruitful. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Man, I made so many mistakes in my journey to get here, and that's why I just want to have a very candid conversation with you and literally talk to you as if you are the younger me and just give some advice, because I just see so much misinformation out there. So I just finished up with all my meetings. My mind is racing with thoughts, so we're gonna go for a little late night drive. I might go get a lemonade or milkshake or whatever, I don't know. let's see how I'm feeling. And I'm just gonna run you through all the money mistakes that I made, and imagine I was talking to myself 10 years ago. What would I tell myself? So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, let's drop the top. By the way, I know everything you see online is like, oh, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning or you can't be successful. Like, I literally go to bed at like 3, 4 in the morning. Now bear in mind,
You do not have to wake up. People don't understand the things you already do most likely will make you successful. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, because most people cannot do that consistently. Like me, when I was in college, I used to wake up at 5:40, 5:30 every morning, and it used to kill me. I literally used to go in there, eyes rolling in the back of my head. I'm over there trying to like just stay up, but that my body's circadian rhythm would not function at that time. You know what's crazy? I used to get bullied just for being sick, just for being like tired. Like I used to get bullied, bro. I used to get kicked out just for being sick, bro. I remember one time I'm in a team meeting. I'm sitting in the back. I throw up. Coach in the front talking about, Trey, what are you doing? You know how bad I want to look him in his face? I'm throwing up. And I think I did say that. I'm throwing up. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, okay, get out of here. Huh? Like,
most of my companies are East Coast, West Coast time zone these days, and I spend half my year here in Dubai. But yeah, I'll be honest, this time of the night is just when I have like the most clarity and just the best stream of thoughts. So yeah, with that being said, you really are gonna have the best version of me here today. By the way, for anyone who's considering getting a Ferrari, my recommendation is don't. I don't know. I always try to force myself to like this car, but yeah, I don't know.
force himself to like it. Man, I love it. Let me get a SF90, cuz. Nah, if y'all know who TJR is, he had a blooded out SF90. Oh my god. That shit was sexy. I ain't gonna lie, my first like let's say luxury car, most likely be a Mercedes. A Mercedes. A Mercedes would go stupid. A Mercedes would go dumb. It would be like I don't know about a Maybach, but the coupe joint, I think it's like the GLC, the coupe, the big body. Ooh, that's so.
I'm not really a Ferrari kind of guy. I guess the night cruises with a top down is nice though. So speaking of expensive things and expenses and things that cost you money, the truth is the biggest expense in your life will be opportunity cost. That's the truth of it. And don't worry, we're gonna get into some really
Opportunity cost is basically you paying for the opportunity to do something. So let's say I'm a trader and I want to get funded accounts. You have damn, I'm so sorry. You have to pay a fee to be able to get the opportunity to trade. Basically, like anything. When you open a business or open an LLC, you have to pay to get an opportunity to open the LLC.
tactical advice here and some advice that I did not follow, and I'm a little ashamed of it, and I made a lot of money mistakes with this. But simply, I have to start off by talking about this because I can tell you right now, it's all of the businesses that you didn't start, all of the side hustles that you decide to keep procrastinating on, These are the biggest expenses in your life. Like, for example, for me, one of the big things that I did wrong was I was very fortunate. I started making a good amount of money at a young age, but it was only until the age of 20. Now, I know that sounds quite young, but just to give you context, I made my first $1 million at the age of 18, which, by the way, I also hate saying, don't think that that means you need to have any pressure to achieve the same thing. Like, that is a ridiculous age. I had some situations growing up where I was forced to be the man of the house at a very early age. Whatever, let's just ignore my ages. The point is, I had earned millions of dollars before I ever started investing considerably. I mean, I guess growing up, I bought a lot of watches, and that was actually a part of my investment portfolio. And I've done incredibly well with watches. Maybe spent like $5 to $6 million on watches, and had my watch portfolio increase well over 50%. But anyways, that's a story for another day. The thing that I'm really trying to get across here is that inaction, that opportunity cost, that was the biggest expense. Imagine if I took all those millions I was making.
It's all opportunity cost is also the cost of you not taking action. Like the cost of you not actually stepping forward into the call or the purpose on your life. The opportunity cost is the cost that you gave up, is the cost from when you gave up on the thing that you were told to keep going in. See, nobody knows when the opportunity cost gonna come, but it's due every time. Oh, shit. That was a bar, cuz. That was a bar.
Actually meaningfully invested them at the time when I started making money. I would be so far ahead in my investment portfolio. Yo. Sorry, sometimes you got.
I ain't gonna. This is gonna be a long reaction video. I am not a street racer. I do not like driving fast. And it's kind of because when I was 14, I got in a car accident that kind of just blew me. So I was like, yeah, I'm never driving fast. And like the next 2 years, bro, I literally did not want to be in a car, bro. Like it was terrifying for me. I used to be in the car. It was a period where I couldn't sleep. There's a period where every time a car would come, I would literally like my body would freeze and get scared, and it would come. I'm like, yo, yeah. Traumatizing.
Let me kick up the gears a bit. Anyways, back to what I was saying. That opportunity cost and that inaction cost me so much money. Sometimes I truly think about it because I only started meaningfully investing when I was 20, but I really had my investing thesis down properly. Like I felt like, okay, I am good with my investments and I'm solid and sturdy with my investments. Maybe when I was 23. So please, I know you're watching these YouTube videos and you're considering starting your business, you're considering starting that side hustle, you're considering all these things, you're considering taking the jump. And I can tell you right now that inaction is the biggest expense you're ever gonna have in your life. Now, if I was speaking to the version of me 10 years ago, I would say something which, funnily enough, I actually lived by, which is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is reality.
Hey. Profit is sanity. Because let's be honest, when you're not in profit, you ain't really sane. Let's be honest. And cash flow is reality. How much money is coming in and out is reality, is what is happening.
You see, I see so many people online and, they're posting all their big numbers and this and that. And, for example, even for me, in my eyewear brand, like we do millions and millions and millions of dollars a year.
This is my last time pausing for a long period of time. I'm about to get some blue light glasses. Needed them. Because I be standing in front of this computer all day, every day. I need some blue light glasses.
But I can tell you for a fact, the amount that we make in sales, that's not what we keep as a business. And it's the same thing with a lot of businesses out there. You have cost for advertising, you have cost of staff. Now, there's certain businesses, like for example, for me, I started off with a service-based business with an online marketing agency. And I'll be honest, my costs were very minimal because as a service-based business and, especially using incredible talent and using geographical arbitrage, which is, hey, we're charging European and US clients, and our staff is remote in places like Brazil, Colombia, South Africa. These are all places that I hired from in my marketing agency days. So I had a very, very profitable business, and once again, that's advice I'll give to all.
That is very smart, because if you get people to do something for you in the Philippines, It's honestly like at max $20 a month. No, I'm lying. $50 a month. $50 in Philippines is a lot of money, especially for a lot of people. Like a 50 American dollars. So you'll be able to change if you make a lot of money. You're able to change somebody's life in a different country because you'll be using their service of helping you, whether it's like a telemarketer or a customer service or a sales. They're able to do it because they. I feel like also they have more incentive and want to do the job because they work so hard for it and they don't want to lose the ability to make this type of money compared to what they would make in their own country.
You guys, but truly, one of the biggest things I'm grateful about is that I kept that in mind and I always focused on cash flow first. Because for me, like, cash flow is the only thing that matters, profit is the only thing that matters. As time goes on, you can then focus on big companies that you're looking to exit and this and that. Like, I have businesses of mine that I have a very large percentage and a large stake in that I'm not joking, seriously, lose millions of dollars a month. But that's fine because those are VC backed companies. That's just the route that we've gone with those businesses, and that's the game that we're playing, building enterprise value at those businesses. But for
That's why a lot of companies go bankrupt because what people like a lot of companies lose millions of dollars a month because they have to pay for so many costs, whether it's marketing, advertising, sales, graphic design, um, just operational costs, and their goal is not to make money but to grow the enterprise value. And that is kind of backwards to me because like why would you want to lose money so you can be raised? But it's because also they take a lot of loans out with these banks. And most times they're every time they make profit or have cash flow, they have to just put it right back into the bank. And they just loan and loan and loans and loans and loans until eventually these people can't even pay the loan. So they got to go bankrupt because all their money is just going into paying these loans. And more the interest rates go up, they are cooked. Cooked.
for me to try to start that off when I was first getting started in my career, that just doesn't make sense. Okay, you need to focus on being practical first and just getting your first few wins. Now, the next thing is that investing in your business tools isn't a cost. It is an investment to have a competitive advantage. And what I mean by that is right now, like sometimes I really think how easily some of my businesses run, and that's genuinely because we're spending wisely and we're investing wisely on the right tools. And these tools give us competitive advantages. So whether that be different softwares, whether that be tools, whether that be AI workflows, whatever it is, it has basically meant that, in those businesses, what it might take another company 10 times as long, or maybe even 100 times as long to accomplish, we're doing with 1% the amount of input. And the more...
That's also why people probably don't like me. What I do and how I do it is so like there's so much volume and I do it without like the need of other people opinions. Like if I'm gonna create something, I'm gonna create it now and I'm gonna do it now and I'm gonna try it now and I'm gonna make it good now. I'm not gonna wait. Like what's the point of waiting if it's just gonna come out another day? Like some people like if you wanna be able to see your dreams, you have to limit. I say this, I need to say this more, but I say it all the time. Limit the space it takes you to think about a solution and take action. If you could limit that space, you would be unstoppable because now you're thinking ahead of 99% of the world. Because people think and then, oh, but what if this happens? Or why is it, if what if this goes wrong? Or why, all that, right? But if they just cut out that space and just made the idea and took action, and once you take action, you see if it's good or not. If it's not good, okay, let's do something else. If it's good, let's keep going.
you can stack your competitive advantages. And by the way, you don't need to have a massive business in order to do this. Even if you're a solopreneur, you should focus on stacking these competitive advantages. So anytime you can invest in business tools or even tools for you personally, I recommend it because it's pretty much always ROI positive. And that actually brings us on to our next point, which is about AI. And funny enough, I actually just got off a meeting with the co-founder of a company called Lyra. This is a company I wrote a check for in November of 2024, and as it currently stands, obviously minus the co-founders, I'm the largest shareholder in that company. We got accepted into Y Combinator. This is an unpriced round. We're actually about to close this round at a $40 million valuation. And this business is an AI company. And the reason why, people are throwing around this kind of money for AI businesses, because listen, being involved early in AI truly is like being involved early in the internet days. And I don't think you're gonna.
I honestly don't know what AI does for us, like economically, or what it does for us in the world. Because people don't understand, AI was around before we got it in our hands. You think everything that we have, the government had it first, and probably a few years before us. But I still don't understand why it's so economically valued. And it's honestly data collection. Data collection. You can like, y'all don't know this. Let me just drop a gem on you. In your phone, there's face recognition. There's microphones everywhere. There's ways to map who you are just from the task that you do on a daily basis. Like the searches you have in your search bar, the pictures you take, the way you look or the way you speak. People can literally do a map of your whole biological identity, and basically recreate you like this. Like I don't. It's hard to explain, but just trust me, because it's very hard to explain how you could be literally hijacked, not hijacked. Your whole I biological mapping could be copied from your feet to your head.
Have this kind of opportunity again for maybe a decade or two. I'll just take a lemonade,
Okay.
medium-sized lemonade. Amazing.
Anything else, sir?
That's all.
Please come to the
Alright.
next window for your pick.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, growing up, it was always a dream to have one of these. I don't know how well that comes across, but it's cool. I now have a US, a UAE, and a UK Centurion card. So I think I have 6 black cards now. 3 for myself, for my, all the different currencies. And then my assistant has one.
Yo, Buzz. Yo, Buzz. That might be the only shit I'm in competition with. Fuck, I'm gonna get 7. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get a black card in every continent. That's the goal, bro. That is the goal. A black card in every continent. I don't know why I'm shedding tears. That shit just felt like, damn.
My mom has one, and then Tristan, who I work with, has the other one. So Tristan, I hope you're not putting in too much of a dent in the USD Amex Centurion. Let me go park up somewhere and let me talk to you about the other stuff I got on my mind. So where was I? AI. Listen, it's just these opportunities come around maybe every decade. If you look at the internet, then you look at cryptocurrency, then you look at AI. I really wasn't old enough to capitalize on the internet in its infancy. I wasn't really old enough even to capitalize on cryptocurrency in its infancy. And probably for a lot of you guys watching, don't miss the boat. And listen, am I saying that you need to have multiple AI-led software companies like I do? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is give it some attention. You won't regret it. And this focus on your future and improving your skill sets and your abilities takes us to my next point, which is investing in yourself will be the best investment you ever make. And I know that sounds very cheesy, but I will just let's apply a bit of logic here, okay? Right now, you are a company, whether you realize it or not. You are a company. And in fact, if you have less than, I would say, 20 employees, you still are the company. Even if you have a company and you have 3.
People don't know. You got to have stake in yourself. A lot of people in this world will put their company, their enterprise, their individuality in the hands of many other people, in the hands of many others people's wants, needs, and dreams and visions. And then now you become a little corporation. You have shareholders, cuz that's like you have shareholders. You cannot move if your shareholders don't say move. No. No, 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 boy, no. This is this is not that. This is not that.
4 or 5 employees, in my opinion, at that point, you're still the bottleneck to any business. You're still the bottleneck to any company. So, let's imagine you're even a solopreneur. You are literally the entire output of the company. So how do you make more money? How do you earn more income? Well, you need to improve the competitive advantages, the skill sets, and the abilities of the company, aka you. So that's why truly, I see a lot of people, they make their first $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or even $20,000, and they're like, oh, what stock should I invest in? That's something you focus on later down the line. That's something you focus on when you have so much free cash flow, you don't know what to do with it. But for me personally, when you're making your first few thousands and your first few tens of thousands, that should all be reinvested in yourself, because you pretty much are responsible for 100% of your economic output. It's like you are the business, you are the company, you're the driving force. So the stronger and more capable you can make yourself, and the more you can invest in yourself, that is you investing in your company. As I said, even if you're a solopreneur and you only want to make an extra $2,500 a month online, and maybe even as a side hustle, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Even if you just want to make a bit of side hustle money, of course, the more you invest and you pour into yourself, the easier you'll be able to make it, and the quicker you'll be able to make it. Now, number 6 is a pragmatic one, and a mistake I see a lot of people make, which is, please, for the love of God, just buy used cars. Like, please, let someone else take the depreciation. I have literally made enough to afford 10 of these in 1 hour. Actually, that's a lie. 8 of these in a single hour, and yet I still refuse to buy new. Now, bear in mind.
See, this is the type of like fu money I want to make, but I wouldn't use it to do no dumb shit like this. Like you know what he just said? He made enough to buy 8 SF90s in 1 hour. That's the type of money on I'm trying. I'm talking. I don't even have a look at I don't even look at the window sticker. Yep, I'm gonna need that. Yep, need that. Need that. Need that. And I'm gonna drive through the city. Oh, you want a free car? Got you. Hit a Benzo. Oh, you want a free car? Hit a Beamer. Oh, you want a free car? Hit a Toyota. Hey, I ain't getting married by a luxury car. Y'all gonna have to take a 2026 Honda Civic. I'm sorry.
They don't make this car anymore, so you couldn't even buy a brand new even if you wanted to. But my point still stands. I have a few cars that I buy new because they're one of one specs for me, and I just can't get these cars anywhere else. But sort of mass production cars and whatnot, unless you're getting an allocation. For example, with me, my watch portfolio, I bought all my watches new and direct from the brands, but that's because, once again, I've made multiple millions of dollars from my watch collection. But if that's not the case, please let someone else take the depreciation. I just see so many people pissing away so much money on cars. And even me, I buy all my cars cash. I know in some instances it actually makes more sense to finance. Whatever, my liabilities are already liabilities. I don't want to, them to accrue interest as well on top. But even though I pay all my cars cash, I still, in my mind, mentally factor in depreciation. I'll give you an example. I talked about one of my other videos. I also bought a 765 LT, and the last owner of that car 2 years prior bought that car for the equivalent of about $700,000, I believe, 2 years ago. And I bought that car with 6,000 kilometers, whatever, a year and a half later for equivalent of like $300,000. No matter how nice a car is, and I have an insane car collection, for me, the idea of losing 200 grand a year on a car, that would just ruin any prospect of me enjoying the cars. So please, unless you get to the point where you are so ridiculously wealthy, and I'll be honest, I genuinely feel like I've gone to that point in life, I still I'm not gonna buy new. I'll just let another knucklehead take the depreciation on it. And by the way, that was really drilled into my mind well before I ever started buying cars by a mentor of mine, a mentor who's extremely, extremely wealthy, could buy one of these cars every single day for an entire year and not even notice it leave his bank account. And that's why the next money lesson I want to tell you is that mentors truly will shortcut your path to success. And by the way, some mentors will fall naturally into your life, and some mentors you will have to pay, and that's fine. I've done both in my career and I've done both in my life. Now, of course, as you start to become more and more successful, it really becomes a case of you're so valuable to people or in the market, and vice versa, you can exchange value.
Yo, honestly, getting a mentor, that's somebody that is not at the same level as you. A mentor cannot be at the same level as you. A mentor cannot be below you. A mentor is somebody that is above you, not to control you, not to take a hand in anything you do, just to teach you what you should and should not do. But what you do with that information is all up to you. Especially if you're getting mentored by YouTube mentors. Like there's a lot of mentors on there's a lot of mentors on YouTube. You can literally search up how to get rich, and you can see this guy, Alex Hormozy, Iman Gadzhi, and you can literally see, okay, how do we do this? from people that made multi-million dollars. And they did it the correct way. They did it the good way without jumping over hoops and hurdles. They made it there from their own hard work and dedication. Now, may have some obstacles arisen, yeah. But at the end of the day, they are people that you should listen to that have been in that position. And especially with the internet, they're everywhere. They're all over the place.
It's just
Definitely about to
in
do
the
a part
earlier
two, though.
stages of your career, it's hard for you to go to a mentor and then be like, yeah, cool, like let me just pour all my wisdom into you. You know, usually at the higher stages or when you've accomplished something in life and, you know, people have also seen that you're already successful, mentors actually want to pour into you more because they're like, okay, I know if I teach this person something, they will listen and they will actually take it to heart and implement it. Now, one of the biggest mental switches you need to make in your mind is stop consuming, start creating. Consumers stay broke. And if you think about a global economy and its outputs and what is an economy? An economy is basically just a massive value exchange. People are exchanging services, goods, etc., etc. Now, do you want to be on the receiving end or do you want to be on the giving end? AKA, do you want to be the person who's constantly paying for value and then paying to extract value from people? Or do you want to be the person that's getting paid for their value? Listen, no matter how big or small that value is in your mind, I'm not saying that you need to reinvent the wheel here, but someone made this straw. And Shake Shack, well, actually, I don't know if Shake Shack made the straw, but more than likely, Shake Shack paid the company that made the straw. Okay, there we go. That's a value exchange. Let's say you create a digital product about something the market wants. And even better, you're smart, so you use AI to help you with that process. But that's a discussion for another day. Well, then you have created rather than consumed, and then the market can pay you for your creation. So there are truly so many ways for you to make money in this economy, but the only way that you make money is by starting to create rather than being a consumer. And by the way, that even applies to social media content. You want to start creating content rather than only consistently consuming it. Now, on the topic of consumption, I love how all these are like naturally flowing well. I'll be honest, I literally just wrote down a list of like a bunch of things I want to talk about, but these are actually flowing quite well. On the topic of consumption, credit cards. That's one thing I want to talk about. You see, credit cards, if you do them right, and you slowly increase your credit limit and you pay it off at the right times, credit cards can become one of your best friends. I can tell you right now, my best friends, my mom, my loved ones, they're always flying business class, they're going on holidays. In fact, even after tomorrow, my mom's going to Maldives, 5 days, and all that is paid off by points. I send my mom to Maldives multiple times a year. I'd say 70% of the time it's with points, and even her flights, first class and business class flights with points. So if you actually play things right, number one, obviously incredible benefits that you can get from credit cards. Now, please, if you're financially irresponsible and you don't know how to manage your money, credit cards can be one of the most soul-destroying, crushing, worst things for you to ever do. So please understand everything I discuss here. This is not financial advice. This is just me speaking to the younger version of myself. There's certain bits of this you can take and you can agree with. There's certain bits that you don't have to agree with and you don't have to actually implement. But if you are financially responsible with your money, as I said, credit cards, not only do you receive so many benefits, but number two, you also build up your credit history. And there will come a time in your life that you do want to have incredible credit history. You want to have great lending terms. You want to have great relationships with your banks, whether that's pulling equity out of your property.
I understand that. I don't understand people that go broke doing that. Like people, when you reach a certain point, people you will use the bank's money to do majority of everything, right? And then when they can't keep up with those payments and they file for bankruptcy, everything gets taken away. So it's like it's no there's no winning. And then most times they just leave the debt to their children. They leave all that debt to their children.
Whether that's getting a Lombard loan against your stock portfolio, all these things, you know, like you baby step your way there. So, you know, start off with credit cards to eventually getting good relationships with your bankers, getting great lending terms, etc., etc. Now, I feel like everything we've talked about here is mainly about like building and also, you know, what do you do to not waste your money? But like this next thing I'm going to talk about is genuinely, I think, the number one biggest wealth killer, and that's comfort. And I see it all the time where people hit their first $3,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, whatever it is. At the end of the day, you need to understand when you're watching me or you're watching some other person, when I hang out with my friends that are even, you know, many multiples more wealthy than me, I don't look at them like we're different people. I'm just like, we're both playing the same game. We're loving the game, you know, the game of life. You're just more steps ahead of me. And at some point in your life, you were at the stage I'm at right now. And in the same way, you might be watching me and going, oh, well, you know, it's so crazy. I don't know how to do that. It's like, listen, we're both playing the same game. We're both experiencing the same experience of life. It's just, yeah, maybe I've been doing it a little longer, so I'm a little further ahead. And by the way, That is why I always keep my videos up on YouTube from 10 years ago. I have documented my entire life, the highs, the lows, the wins, the losses. I'll be entirely honest with you, there's a bunch of people who come on YouTube and say a bunch of shit that they've never actually lived, or you just kind of have to take their word for it. Every single thing I've ever said is proven, backed up, validated on my YouTube. Just as long as you have an open mind and an open heart, and also the energy to watch back through a bunch of my old videos, I leave them there on purpose, which is to show people the entire 10-year journey I took to get here. But anyways, getting back to my main point, genuinely, I think about like people I know where we were in, neck and neck 5 years ago, and then, maybe now, at least in the domain of business and, not even business, just in my life in general, I guess they kind of stayed like this and I went like this. And listen, there's a big case to say that, maybe they live a better life than me because, they're more balanced. I guess for me, balance, I don't really care. I like seasons of intensity in all areas of my life, whether that's work, fun, whatever it may be. But the point is, if I think about people that I know 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and we got to very different destinations in life, why is that? Well, we were running the same race and we ran at the same pace. And in fact, maybe they were even ahead of me. And at some point they were like, you know what, I'm good, I'm comfortable. And they just decided to sit by the side of the road, and they were like, you know what, I hit a fast 5 kilometers. But they never wanted to finish the marathon. They decided that they appreciated the side of the road more and the comfort of the side of the road more than finishing the marathon. That's a choice everyone has to make, but I can tell you right now, that will be the biggest wealth killer you have in your life. Comfort. By far the biggest wealth killer. If you want to get wealthy or rich or whatever term you want to use, and especially if you want to stay there, comfort will be your biggest enemy. And I've seen it time and time again. I can tell you, being successful in life, I'm not discounting it, I'm not discrediting.
Comfort will leave you where you were most lowest. Comfort will keep you in the places where either I stay here or I move on and go into the unknown. And most people will choose to just stay there and live the rest of their life doing the same things over and over and over again, instead of seeing truly what they're capable of.
It, of course, it's difficult, but every single one of you, if you focus your mind on it, will be successful. Now, do I think that all of you guys will stay successful? To be honest, I don't know, because in my opinion, not letting comfort creep in and staying successful is substantially harder than getting success in the first place. And it's funny, talking about this concept of comfort, that brings me on to my next point, which is your parents' financial advice is probably 30 years outdated. And the reason that ties into comfort is because, of course, your parents want to advise what's comfortable to them, what they know. So for example, for them, they might say, oh, keep money in the bank. You have to focus on
That's why it's very hard to listen to elders when it comes to new age things, because they're most likely in their emotional or mind are 30 to 20 years behind the times, and they still think they're living in a new era. They're old, they still think they're living in their base reality when everything has literally expanded, accelerated, and gone to places they don't even understand. But they try and try and try to take control of a life that they understand what they're saying, and they don't understand what they're saying will not work in the real world. Like, let's say this: if somebody's lying about you, no, if somebody's trying to do a smear campaign, and their thought is, oh, we can ruin his reputation by spreading lies, gossip, rumors, not knowing that the easiest way to defeat smear campaign is that if people see you more than they see those people. And that's the greatest defense you can have. Will people see you more than those people? Because now they have nothing to base off of but words you said. But more people are seeing you on a daily basis. I'm gonna just leave that there. But we actually gonna end this video. And I think we're gonna leave it here. I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed. And I hope you have an amazing day. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.